So, as some of you may already know, I'm a man of faith. My wife and I are part of our local church. We're part of a fantastic community which we love. We would call ourselves Christians that have a personal relationship with Jesus. That's a life that we've committed to leading. And I've done over 40 videos now. And one thing I haven't talked about yet is how we should approach our relationship with money as Christians. Specifically, should Christians want lots of money? Should Christians want to be rich? What's up guys, it's your urban educator Warren Goslin back with another financial wealth building video. If you'd like to show your support for this channel, please do so by hitting the like button and subscribing, that really helps. And recommend this video to somebody else on their wealth building journey. Appreciate the continued love and support from you guys. Peace. And for all of you out there watching that don't follow a faith, whether you're atheist or agnostic, Muslim or Hindu or a committed Jedi, it really doesn't matter. These principles of how to steward our money, which we're about to talk about together, are going to be useful to you too. This video is for everybody, regardless of what you do or don't believe. Hopefully this video might even cause you to think about money in a new way. So stick with it till the end, guys. By the way, I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. My goal is to grow this channel to that level this year, guys. I'm putting it out there, but I need you guys to get there. So if you find this content helpful, please take a second, literally a second, to like and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. So wealth and faith, these two are often kept at completely separate ends of the room. When it comes to religion, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But I feel like we in the church tend to lean towards this view of Christians wanting to be rich or financially successful as a sinful thing. I don't know about you guys and your individual experiences with this topic, but for me, I feel like growing up in church, you wouldn't really express this as one of your main desires for your life. You'd say that you want to be married, you want to have a family, etc., etc. But being rich really isn't something that you'd really say in church. And if you did, I feel like it would be frowned upon. Whether it's a follow-up message from your leader, like "How's your heart, bro?" or a Bible verse that's sent to you about the rich man entering the kingdom of heaven being harder than a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. All of that, guys. And the message is that it's somehow opposed to the idea or the image of what a humble, good Christian should be. You know, like wearing leather sandals, eating locusts in the wilderness, focused on the kingdom, etc. You'd be surprised at how many Christians I've come across that generally believe this, that Christians should not want to be rich, successful, and have money. And they'll use verses like 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all evil, or Matthew 19:24, just to back this up. And you might have experienced this if you follow other faiths, if you're a Hindu, or if you're Muslim, or if you're non-religious, but your family might just shy away from talking about money. It might not be seen as a palatable subject to be talking about around the house. So let's talk about this, guys. Are these people right? Does a Christian wanting to become rich and pursuing success make them a bad follower of the faith? Is that greed? Is that over-ambition? What I believe is often missed from this conversation is, where is your heart at in all of this? The most important aspect of all of this is, what is your motive for wanting lots of money and desiring to become rich? The money itself is actually secondary, guys. One of my go-to verses is the very same verse that people often use to demonize the pursuit of wealth, 1 Timothy 6:10. When you look closely at this verse, it doesn't actually say that money in and of itself is the root of all evil. It clearly says that the love of money is the root. I.e., how do you feel in your heart towards it? What is your relationship with money? So having money is not a sin in and of itself. It's not a bad thing to want it or to want to earn more and to live well. It's okay. In fact, it often takes money to progress the kingdom and just to look after your family, guys, to maintain day to day. It takes money just to live. And if it wasn't the case, churches wouldn't ask for like offerings or tithes. Pastors and staff need to be paid. Rent needs to be paid for the building that you're sitting in every Sunday, water, electricity, and so on. It all takes financial resources. And in the Bible, we see many examples of resources being required to do things. So for example, when the Jews were finally freed from Egypt, they were sent with silver and gold in the book of Ezra. When the Jews left Babylon to go and rebuild Israel after they'd been deported for hundreds of years, King Cyrus decreed that they should be sent with silver and gold. Why? Because they needed resources to build things and to progress. You can't build the church, you can't build your life on prayers alone. It takes resources. So having established that this is a heart issue, we're now faced with a very challenging question, which we should all be asking ourselves when it comes to our relationship with money. And that is money an idol to you? What do I mean by an idol? Does the amount of money that you earn or you have at any one time shape your sense of self-worth and your self-confidence? Are you operating from biblical money principles or worldly money principles? For example, let's say you're in a job and you're earning, say, £50,000 a year. You get made redundant and you lose your job, as many have over the last year. You eventually find a new job, but the market's hard and it's, say, half of what you used to earn. So instead of earning 50k before, you're now earning 25k. Would this knock your confidence? Would you think less of yourself solely because you now have less money than you did before? In other words, is your identity tied to the amount of money that you have and that you earn? That's a question for you to meditate on in your own time and decide for yourselves. I don't know about you, but me personally, I try my best not to base my identity on money. And it's hard, guys, okay? It's hard. And any other possessions for that matter, whether it's your car, your house, where you go on holiday every year. I base my identity in God first, as opposed to my money and what I have in terms of my possessions. Why? Because there's always going to be someone richer than me, with better stuff than me, further ahead than me where I want to be in life. And all those things that money can buy are almost a temporary satisfaction. I found that none of it really lasts. For example, I just bought a MacBook Pro a couple of months ago. I absolutely love it. I love the way you have that little bar at the top of the pad that you can use to control like the volume and that. I don't know what it's called, but it's sick. I love how responsive the mouse pad is. I had a bust down old laptop before this. It was like 4 or 5 years old, so I really needed a new one. I love its speed. It's all good, guys. But in 2 years' time, I know that this laptop that I have now that I love is going to be old news. There's going to be a slicker, faster, sexier model that everyone else is going to want. And my one's just going to look old and aged by that time. MacBooks do age well, by the way. But the point I'm making is that there's no point in putting your faith and your confidence and your worth in money and possessions, because it's all temporary. You can't take any of it with you, guys. And as I said before, this doesn't just apply to Christians. Asking yourself this question and challenge yourself is a great thing to do, whatever you believe in. So how do you steward your money? And by steward, I mean, how should you think about your money and what you do with your money? So I'm going to approach this with some simple do's and don'ts, which I've taken directly from the Bible. I haven't added extra source or pheno sides to it. It's 100% word, no filler, guys. So let's start with some do's. I've taken this first one from Matthew 25:15. The Bible is very clear in how it favorably looks upon the principle of growing your money and having it multiply for you. How? Well, in a modern day context, by investing. And we see this with the way how the master rewards the stewards who multiply the coins that they were originally given by him before he goes away. And he punishes the steward that did nothing with his coins. The principle of investing is very clear here, guys. The Bible is for investing and growing your money. Now in Ecclesiastes 11, we get free and impartial guidance for how we should invest. I mean, who better to give us investing tips than God himself, right? The passage tells us to invest in several different ventures because we don't know what risks lay ahead. The Bible is literally telling us to diversify your investments. Love it. And that's something that I preach and talk about a lot on this channel when it comes to investing via funds and also via property in different areas of the UK. Now let's look at a couple of don'ts, okay? Believe it or not, the Bible actually teaches us about responsible borrowing as well. We know that debt is a huge problem in society. I've worked in a bank in credit risk for the last 10 plus years. Debt is a huge problem. In the Western world, we rely on debt. Our economy relies on it. But the Bible teaches us about the dangers of borrowing excessively in Proverbs 22. It says that the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is a slave to the lender. This proverb doesn't take amazing skill or understanding to interpret, guys. It's very simple, and it describes excessive debt as a kind of slavery, which I think most people today would agree. If you've ever been in debt like I have, like a lot of you may have been, you'll know what it feels like. And what it's showing you is how the dynamic between a lender and someone that's heavily in debt isn't one which you want to be in, because it feels like slavery, guys. So borrow responsibly. If you're in debt now, look to manage that down. I've created videos on that, so have a look through my library of other videos on how to manage debt. And then lastly is the advice not to idolize money or possessions. We talked about this a little bit earlier. This can often be more subtle and deep in us than we actually realize. In Matthew 6, it says, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And then in Ecclesiastes 5, it says, whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. I just talked about that as well, guys. Money is just a tool. We shouldn't find our identity and our self-worth in it. And this brings us full circle when it comes to, should Christians want lots of money? We need to actually start with, what is your motive for doing so? That's a real question here. Where's your heart at? So that's today's video, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. I've been Warren G, and I'll see you guys next week.